Hey everybody, welcome, welcome to Hidden Horror. Thank you for spending this time with me. I appreciate that. Let's get started. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Hidden Horror. So, as I said in my prior video when I talked about James Crumbley, I'm here also to give you an update on his wife, Jennifer Crumbley. Again, the Crumbleys, they are the parents of the Oxford High School mass shooter, Ethan Crumbley. And in November of 2021, Ethan Crumbley committed a mass shooting. He killed 4 students and he injured others, including a teacher. And both parents were convicted in individual separate trials. And Ethan Crumbley, he actually pled guilty to over 20 charges. And we're going to talk about what Jennifer's grievance is. She wants to remove the prosecutor that prosecuted all 3 of the cases. The prosecutor's name is Karen McDonald. Well, there was a team of prosecutors, not just her, but she is the Oakland County prosecutor, but she wants to remove the prosecutor, and she says that pretty much overall she can't do her duties, her constitutional ethical duties, but she got 2 convictions and 1. Ethan Crumbley pled guilty. So that means that she did some work to make that happen. And these were jury convictions. Their peers listening to that testimony, reviewing all of the evidence in 2 separate jury trials. Both James Crumbley, the father, and Jennifer Crumbley, the mom, were both convicted. Okay, let's go over it all. Okay, so the article, it comes from wxyz.com. One second. It's titled, Jennifer Crumbley's attorney wants Oakland County prosecutor removed from case. The article is dated March 5th, 2025. And I'm trying to find the author. Let me go to the bottom of the article to see if the author's name is there, because it's not on the top. Okay, I don't have an author, but again, it's on wxyz.com. Okay. Just want to double check because I always want to give that credit to the writer. Okay. My apologies if the writer is here and I just don't see the name. An attorney for Jennifer Crumbley has filed a motion seeking to remove Oakland County prosecutor Karen McDonald from the case. Attorney Michael Desi filed the motion in Oakland County Court, saying in the motion that McDonald cannot be trusted to prosecute this case consistent with the constitutional, legal, and ethical duties imposed upon her office. Desi cited 2 secret agreements called proffer agreements and said that the prosecutor's office hired 2 public relations firms for a smear campaign against the Crumbleys. So let's just go over what a proffer agreement is. I talked about that in the James Crumbley video, but a proffer agreement is an agreement that the prosecutor makes with a witness so that they will give truthful testimony and they're not going to be criminally charged. Okay, that's what a proffer agreement is. And then we know what a smear campaign is. A smear campaign is when someone is targeted and negative things are brought out about them. Okay. I think when the news follows events and they follow the behavior of subjects, for example, James and Jennifer Crumbley, they're looking at the behavior and they're hearing more and more about what happened in their lives. If that's considered a smear campaign, if there's a lot of negative activity, a lot of negative actions, it may appear to be a smear campaign, but it also could be just things that are brought to the light that are not positive and overwhelmingly are negative, okay? But let's continue. Earlier this year, Jennifer was back in court fighting to get a new trial, with Desi arguing the proffer agreements were not properly disclosed. A proffer agreement is a legally binding contract between a defendant or witness and a federal prosecutor. In this case, it would allow the witness to provide information on the stand with the agreement that the government won't use it against them in court. Jennifer was convicted on 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter connected to the deadly Oxford High School shooting in November 2021. Her son was the shooter who killed 4 students: Hannah St. Juliana, Justin Shearling, Tate Meir, and Madison Baldwin. Her husband, James, was convicted on the same charges. And again, they received a minimum sentence each of 10 years in prison, okay? The two proffer agreements Desi referred to Friday were ones the prosecution made in 2024 with Oxford High School counselor Sean Hopkins and former Dean of Students Nicholas Ejak. The prosecution did not tell the defense about the agreements during the 2024 trial, which Desi argues is a violation of the discovery rule. The discovery rule requires that upon request, the prosecuting attorney provide any plea agreement, grant of immunity, or other agreement for testimony in connection with the case. During the hearing in January, the prosecution argued Desi's claim, saying there was no discovery violation. The witnesses were not required to testify, and there was no immunity guaranteed. Oakland County Prosecutor Karen McDonald said on Wednesday that Desi's allegations are disrespectful to her team, the court system, and the victims of the shooting. The suggestion that Jennifer Crumbley was convicted based on a strategic media campaign is preposterous. Let's talk about the facts, said McDonald. We tried our hardest to offer transparency and give access to local media and national media outlets. There was no behind the scenes social influencers. We don't need to do that, and we wouldn't do that. Steve St. Juliana, that's the father of Hannah St. Juliana, also spoke out about Desi's allegations against the prosecutor's office. Stop trying to make her the victim. My daughter is the one who was murdered because of her negligence. I mean, by Jennifer Crumbley, said St. Juliana. That's Hannah's father. It kind of like it gets me kind of incensed and angered because these children, the school, the staff, the teachers, the administrators, they are the victims. What they experienced that day, it has a lasting impact. I have a series talking about these mass shootings and, what can we do? How can we turn this around? How can we recognize it? How can we prevent these mass shootings? And in this case, this is the result. You have people that don't want to be accountable, don't want to be held responsible. They don't want to take accountability how they raised their son, who they spent day in and day out with. How do you know his temperament? How do you know not what's not going on with him? How do you not know his thoughts, his behaviors, his anger, his loneliness? They failed their son. They failed their community. And they don't want to be accountable. They don't want to spend this time in prison. It's never going to bring the 4 kids back. And it's not going to heal any of the wounds, the trauma that the students, the staff that they experience, even the other injured students that were not killed, and the teacher that was shot also. It's not going to change any of it, but what justice does, it lets those victims and their families know that they matter, that their life being taken unfairly, unjustifiably, that it's not okay. It's not right to do that. And that if other decisions had been made, many decisions leading up to this mass shooting, the purchasing of the gun, the behavior at school, the journal with the writings, constant thoughts of anger, rage, wanting to harm people, wanting to see people suffer. It goes back to the mindset. And how do you not know the thoughts of your child? How do you not see the behavior of your child? How do you leave them alone? You don't get them any mental health counseling. You don't get them any therapy. You don't spend time with them. All of these allegations, it led us to the mass shooting. And we've seen it over and over again across this country in many different ways, in many different states. And the 4 kids, the 4 victims that are not here, we have to stand in solidarity for justice for them and their families. We have so much work to do that it's almost a shame that we have to keep refocusing on people that have already been convicted amongst the peers, a jury of their peers. And they don't have to deal with the heartbreak. They don't have to deal with having other kids that don't have their sibling, parents, some that only have one child and they're gone. And we pour so much into our kids and we love our kids. And it's almost like you're in a freaking nightmare. We have to do more. We have to do better. That is it, and that is all. Thank you for spending this time with me. I really appreciate it. I want you to stay safe, stay smart, stay savvy. Please be well, my friends. Enjoy this beautiful Sunday. And remember, please remember the victims and their families. Uplift them. Think of them today. As the sun shines bright, think of them. Justin, Madison, Hannah, and Tate. Think of them and their families in this moment as this fight continues on for justice for them. Take care, everybody. Be well. So